510 subscribers. Wow. I want to thank God and you guys for helping me reach this milestone. After 3 years, I finally have 500 subscribers. And I just wanted to say thanks once again. Now, I recently made a poll for what you guys wanted the 500 special to be. And 60% of you guys said all custom dinosaurs. So congratulations if you voted for that. Update. I've made a bunch of customs, and when I was recording this video, it turns out this is probably going to be an hour long. So I decided to just only use the Jurassic World Alive custom dinosaurs that I have. I might make another follow-up video about this, but for now, this is all I have. All my Jurassic World Alive customs. This will also not be going in order of like rare and unique, if you know what I mean, if you play Jurassic World Alive. It's just whatever I grab first, whatever comes in mind, I guess. And let me tell you, I have a bunch of Jurassic World Alive dinosaurs. So here is the first one, the Monolomimus. It kind of looks bad, I guess. The paint job is pretty good, I guess, from the actual species. But I don't really like it because I use paper for these ones. Back in the time, I couldn't really use spikes. I couldn't really make spikes. The molds I did for like the spikes and stuff like that weren't the best. And here's the Monolomimus. Up next, we have the Gorgosuchus. This one it's a very recent one. And well, it can open its jaw, like, it has some spikes here, so you can see it. But it can still manage to open its jaw. I also added spikes here, like in the Gorgosuchus, and this little part here. Since this came out, I was thinking of making a Gorgosuchus, but it's just now that I really want to make one. So here it is, the Gorgosuchus. The recent hybrid added to the Jurassic World Alive creatures is this one, the Concatosaurus. I think at least this is the Concatosaurus. It might be the rare one, but this is the unique hybrid of it. This one I use basically the Concavinator that can't move its jaw. I forgot what's it called, but this is the Concatosaurus. The reason I don't think it's like the paint job is accurate, but I made this thing when they first came out, when the update, I forgot the name of the update, but it recently came out, and I just had like some images of it. I had some YouTube videos, so I used like what I had to make it. But like overall, if you ignore the paint job, I think I did a good job with the sculpture. Let's ignore the head though, because I know it's not accurate at all. But everything else, I think it looks great. Another unique I have is this one. I forgot the name, but it's Quetzal something. So I'm gonna put the name in when I finally edit the video. But yeah, I like this one because this is also not that recent, but it's a recent one. This one used to look much more different though. When I first made it, it was not made like you can see right now. The mouth is like, it has some clay on it, so it can resemble more of the snout of the creature. But back then I didn't really know how to do that, so I just painted it yellow. But then I saw how bad it kind of looked, and the crest. Oh yeah, the crest was also pretty bad back then. It was like folding down. So I remodeled everything. I just took the crest out and put like this new one. And for the beak, I finally added the beak. I made some little teeth for it, and yeah. Another remodel I did was this one, the Trichlosaurus. I forgot the name of it, but I'm gonna put it back. Anyways, this one actually, this is a remodel because I had to remodel its tail because it had like it was basically like this clay. The reason why I didn't really remodel this one is because it's already glued in, so I'm like, yeah, I'm rather not take it out. But this one, the tail, I did take it out and I remodeled it to resemble more of the tail, and I added some little spikes on it. And then I also remodeled its horns, since the horns had the clay I used for the horns were much more delicate, because the clay I used to use was from Crayola, so it wasn't that strong. It always broke down. So I finally bought a different type of clay that actually works and is actually like for making sculptures. So yeah, this is it. They can move his jaw and stuff like that, and yeah. Here's another one that I use Crayola clay on. I use it for the spikes and for the crest it has. for the Dilo Righteous. I think at least that's what it's called. But overall, I remodeled everything because like the spikes were breaking apart and that angered me a lot. So then I basically just remodeled this part, painted it. Same thing with these parts, and well, now it looks great. I also cut its nails out from the mini Therizinosaurus that I used because that's how like the nails of the Dio Righteous was. So here it is. I added paper for its tail because it has like some sort of spikes things. But yeah, here it is, the Dillo Righteous. For the smaller, just so you guys know, for the smaller custom dinosaurs that I use, they're mostly from captives and from minis. So just a heads up. And here's one of the captives. This I use the captive Spinosaurus, and this is the Spino Inex. I added some. It was pretty easy, I guess. I mean, back then I used paper for like the little spikes it has on its sail, but I recently remodeled that to be clay, so it can be much more stronger. And I just basically just painted it and I just added that, and it was pretty easy. Another easy dinosaur was this one. I forgot the name of it as well, so here it is. This creature was pretty easy. I just had to repaint everything. I didn't really have to add nothing in. I just painted it in, and I'm like, yeah, custom. Yeah, it looks accurate. So yeah, here it is. Here up next, here we have the Paramolic. The Paramolic was also one of the oldest ones that a customs I made because it had paper spikes, and it had like it didn't cut its horn off so it can look like the actual Paramolic. Because if you see the captive Parasaurolophus, its horn, I mean its crest, I guess, is going down. But I didn't really do that until now. Until I added the spikes, and then I added the little horn that's going up like a Paramolic. Now we have the Priorix. This one I used the captive Prioraptor, and it pretty much looks exactly like it, I think, at least in my opinion. But I don't know what you guys think about it. I added paper for like the little spikes on it because this is again one of like not the oldest, but like one of like the times where I actually couldn't use like I couldn't make actual spikes. I remodeled this thing because I also use Crayola clay, and like it doesn't really look that good because like the crest doesn't really line up. So yeah, but this is the Pyrex. You guys know Jurassic World Alive. You know that Giga Inex got a hybrid. I didn't really make it. I haven't made it yet, but here it is, the Giga Inex at least. And I also made its skin, Citadel. This is when the I made this when Giga Inex I made it when it came out, but I also made Citadel because I thought the skins were just gonna be like small, but like very not like recently now the skins are actually like a big thing now, and that's why the reason I don't really like it now anymore, because I was just making like I was planning on making all the skins, but since I saw like Ludia started making more and more skins, I said nah, I'm not doing that anymore. So yeah, but here it is, Giga Inex and Citadel. These ones are also remodeled since I used paper for the spikes, but now I recently took that off and put actual clay on it. Here we have the Ardontosaurus. So this one was pretty easy, I guess. I did see. This is what I'm talking about. This is the clay I used to use for the Crayola clay I used to use. And as you can see, it's not really the best, since this is also one of the first times I actually used Crayola clay, or like started molding with clay. So it doesn't really look like good, but somehow it's was pretty strong since the piece just fell out somehow. But like once it finally breaks down, because this is actually pretty hard. Once it finally breaks down, I'll actually just make a remodel it. And this one was pretty easy because I just had to add this, painted it, because now it looks already like the Ardontosaurus. But yeah, there it is, the Ardontosaurus. A recent creature that got rebalanced was the Magna Prioritator, or whatever it's called, and I recently made it as well. So I didn't really recently made it, but I did remodel it since I used a bunch of paper on it and I didn't really like it. I didn't really use a Dimetrodon for its head, because basically all of the Dimetrodons that Mattel has made has like a different snout. And back then I couldn't really I didn't have sand dust, so I couldn't really like sharpen their faces. So I used this one, and I'm too lazy to make a remodel of it. I might make a remodel so I can I can fuse the minion Dimetrodon and the minion Prioraptor to make an actual one. But this is what I have so far. It has feathers in the tail, it has feathers in the arms, and it has spikes on it. And yeah, that's the Magna Priority. Small herd that I have is the Listrosuchus. These, of course, are the rare hybrids from the Listrosaurus, and I made them. These are also remodeled. I mean, not the spikes because the spikes are made out of paper, but the horns are because I used Crayola clay. Yeah, a bunch of dinosaurs I used Crayola clay, and I had to remold them. It was very annoying, but I finally did it. And yeah, these are the Listosauruses, the Listosuchus. Now the hybrid Listosavius is not. It's pretty much the same thing. These ones are also remolded since I also remolded its horns. And these ones were much more different since I basically painted them. They were very easy to paint. But the thing is that I used for the feather thing, like I said before, back then I couldn't really make feathers. Well, I said spikes, but I couldn't also make feathers. So I used paper so it can look like feathers, and that's what it has. I also was too lazy to remodel like the spikes it has on its head. But overall, these are the Listrosavius. This might be an odd design, but either way, I'm gonna show it to you guys. This is the Theratolosaurus. So as you can tell, this is made from the pop-out dinosaurs that came out from the original Jurassic World Dominion line. I mean, I personally don't like them, but the first wave was pretty good, I guess. I kind of liked it, but overall now I don't really want them that much. But I use an Allosaurus to make the Theratolosaurus, and I also remodeled it since I also used Crayola for its Crayola clay for the head sculpture and the spikes and the horn. And I recently remodeled them as well. I also remodeled its head sculpture because I used paper for the spikes again, but then I recently just remodeled that to actually be clay. So yeah, here it is, the Theratolosaurus in pop-out form. The recent one I made that I actually pretty like is this one, the Utah Renix. This one was pretty much I really like this mold because I basically added the feather. This is when I could finally make feathers. So the feathers in this tail actually looks beautiful. I also had little bumps in it like the actual figure. I added feathers in like the arms, and I also like the spikes I made it. Like this I really much just cut one of the horns of the Stigmolic from the captives, and I put it in its as the horn for the Utah Renix, and it actually looks good. I also added this. I also like how I did the forms of the spikes, and it pretty much looks kind of accurate. I think this is the most accurate one I made so far. One of the accurate ones because I have more. But here it is, the Utah Renix. Another Suchus I have made is the Postosuchus, or I mean the Postometrodon, yeah. So the Postometrodon, I also remodeled it since the sail. I used papers for the sail, and I didn't really like that, so I finally remodeled it to have like the actual clay sail. But I kind of don't like it as well because I pretty much just made it when I was late. I was pretty lazy to make like a more accurate sail, so I had like a bunch of spikes and stuff like that. But so far it's pretty good, I guess. Here is the Postometrodon. This might be a much more longer video than the original customs video. But anyways, let's see the parent for the Utah Renix, which is the Dracoceratops. Now this one I also remodeled it. I used the Lego Steve Malik, pretty sure it was, or it might be a not a Draco Rex. I forgot what's the Lego set called, but it's the one with the computations one, the one that came with Sammy. But basically, this one I remodeled it since back then it looks way worse than than right now. Right now it looks pretty good, but way back then it looks way worse. I couldn't make the ceratopsian frill or like the ceratopsian crest that it has, so it looked like very wonky, and then the spikes on its head were way large. But then I finally remodeled it and I made a much more accurate ceratopsian crest. The horns I made it much more smaller as well, and I finally added the spike it has. But here it is, the Dracoceratops. Up next here is the Sungia. This one I used the actual Miragia toy that Mattel made to make this creature, and I think it looks good. I also remodeled it since I also, like every other creature, use Crayola clay for the spikes and the little feather things or whatever, the little spikes it has in the bottom. But here it is, the Sungia. What I think is one of the fan favorites that I think more Jurassic World Alive people like after the rebalance. well, at least I see a lot of people use it in battles, is the early Odominus. The early Odominus, I use paper for the feathers it has. When I see it, it looks like it has like the colors like the Therizinosaurus has, like the mini Therizinosaurus. So I decided to leave it like that. If it has like, I'm gonna recheck it. I'm gonna see again if it has the same colors. If it does, then I'm gonna just leave it like that. If it doesn't, I might remodel it. It depends. It has some paper feathers too, but here it is, the Elio Dominus. I've been showing you guys a bunch of captives and mini dinosaurs, so let's take a break on that and let's bring out something a bit more larger. Something like the Hammock Collection, which is where I actually made the Concatosaurus, and this time this is the Concatosaurus. So this one I used the Hammock Collection Concavinator for it. This one took me a bunch of time to make since I had to make um the sail, but I also had to separately make the spikes. And since it has a bunch of spikes, I actually took all the time and effort to actually make the spikes. And it really works pretty well. I also remodeled some of the face. I sharpened like a little bit of it so I can fit more of like the spikes, like the little armor has. I repainted also its eyes since its eyes were green. And I also, its tail can actually bend as well. So yeah, oh yeah, I also painted a little nail thing there, so hire me, Mattel. But anyways, here it is, the Concatosaurus. Here is the Diloranosaurus. Now the Diloranosaurus, I had a bunch of remodels of it since, like everything else, it had the Crayola clay, and I also remodeled some. I also recently repainted as well, since the sail had like a bunch of like little bumps things. Like this is probably the creature that I mostly spend time actually remodeling, because I spend a bunch of time remodeling. Like it has probably like 10 remodels or like 5 remodels. I forgot, I lost count. But this is the probably the creature that I had the most remodels of. But here it is, the Diloranosaurus. Let's talk about another raptor, more specifically a Pyroraptor. Here is the Pyrosuchus. So the Pyrosuchus, I also used the captives. I didn't really remodel its head, since its head is already I guess crocodile, something like that. Like the Pyrosuchus has like its long snout, but it doesn't really matter. Anyways, I did remake it. I did remodel it. I remodeled some spikes. Not the spikes. I mean the horn and the crest of it, so it can look more like the Pyrosuchus. But here it is, the Pyrosuchus. The Triceratops I made is the Tracodistis. So basically, this one, there's something pretty cool that I like about it is that when I caught the captive, it was a red. So if you guys know the Atracodistis, it's one of its parents is red, the Triceratops. So it was pretty cool making it. It also had remodels with its clay parts. So yeah, I also used for the head, for the little beak it has. I used paper. Well, I recently made it into clay. So yeah, here it is. Here it is, the Atracodistis. The final Atrociraptor I have made is the Atrocimolic. The Atrocimolic was pretty easy, I suppose, cause this one was pretty easy because I just had to add spice and everything. Because there's nothing that separates this one. Like when you look at the Atrocimolic, it looks like a raptor. Like I don't know why Ludia decided to make it, and I like, yeah, let's add some special features so we can separate them from the raptors. But no, it just looks like a raptor, but with like like a little bit oversized back. This was a different creature. For this used to be the Alloraptor, which I'm gonna get into later. But here is the Atrocimolic. Before, here is the Alloraptor. Guess I don't want to stand. Yeah, the Atrocimolic used to be an Alloraptor, but I made it. And this one used to be like another captive extra raptor I have, so I made this one into the Alloraptor. The Atrocimolic version of it didn't really look accurate because it had like gray, and I recently saw when I remodeled the Alloraptor, it didn't really have gray on it, so I decided to add like this darkish greenish like color, like some blue on top, so it can also look like the Allosaurus, I mean. and I also added some spikes on it so it can look more like the owl raptor. Here it is, the owl raptor. Let's go back and go to the smaller species. Here I have the Tarbognathus. And these ones I use like basically the Lego baby dinosaurs, but I also use the baby beta that I the Lego sculpture for the Tarbognathus. But here it is, the Tarbognathus. I also added paper for the spikes, but it doesn't really matter. Here is the Tarbognathus. Well, a kind of an odd creature to this customs will probably be the Monolometrodon. Well, this creature is pretty odd. I mean, I don't have to speak for it. This one was basically like, it was basically a Dimetrodon skeleton, but I added like some colors and stuff like that, and I didn't really want to leave it like that. So I basically just added like the little horn it has. I mean, the crest or horn, because it looks like a horn to me. And I added the eyes, and well, the eyes are like the worst part probably. Not the best, but I have it. Now let's take a break of some dinosaurs and stuff like that, and let's go up to the pterosaurs. Here is my custom-made Dimodactylus. This one pretty much took me. This one I used the original minis from Mattel before the Dominion line, because the Dominion line is basically like rubber. This one is actually kind of more hard plastic, but basically this is what it is. I use Crayola clay, but this one is actually pretty strong somehow, and it looks pretty bad. The crest and the thing, I haven't really remodeled it since I have it like in a bag of pterosaurs, extra pterosaurs I have for films and stuff like that. But here it is, the Dimodactylus. Going back to little dinosaurs, we have here the Compsognathus. These guys were made during when I first started getting to making custom dinosaurs. These were the first little ones since they came in the first update of Jurassic World Alive, where they added the Compsognathus. And I used basically some baby dinosaurs, some Lego baby dinosaurs, and I forgot what the T-Rex called, but it's from a mini series, and it's not the best as well, but I have it. And this is the Compsognathus. Speaking of Compsognathus, we cannot forget about Compsognathus Gen 2, especially its most powerful hybrid, which is the Compsoraptor, which is these guys. Yeah, I made a bunch of these guys. Basically, I made these were the first ones. Let me see if I can show this. So these guys over here were the first ones, because they were like minis and I decided to make them. But then over time I got a bunch of mini blues, and I wanted to conclude the blues so it can be more like a raptor, a Compsognathus, Compsoraptor. So I have now 2 of these and 3 of these, and like since it's Compsognathus, I mean why not have like a whole herd of them? So here is the Compsoraptors. I have made one mammal, and that is the Pantheriatator. This one I use a lion to like a female lion to make the Pantheriatator, and I actually pretty like it. I like it a lot. It has the little spike on it. It has like the little beard it has, and I mean I wanted to keep the tail so it can look cool, even though it doesn't really have a tail. But this is the Pantheriatator. A very, very, very underrated legendary will be the Sinocotaraptor or Sinicotaraptor. Doesn't really matter. Anyways, I have made these guys. These guys are heavily underrated. I remember I used to use these a lot, and these were very good in the combat. They did distraction. They could heal like when they're like half health, but like it doesn't really matter. They can still heal, and these are very underrated. I really recommend using these. And well, the design. This is where like I also got today style of making little custom dinosaurs. So as you can see like some hot glue in them before I switch into super glue. But these are the Sinocotaraptors. Like another unique that I think a lot of people like is the Aenocoionyx. I do not know how to pronounce this guy's name, but here it is. If you know how the creature looks like, this is not accurate. This is far from it. But like the Concatosaurus, I made this one when it first came out, when the update first came out. But overall, I think it looks good. I just need to like improve it a little bit. But once I improve, it's gonna be more accurate. Anyways, here's whatever this creature's name is. Here is the Dracoceratosaurus. The Dracoceratosaurus, basically, I used the Legacy Collection Pachycephalosaurus to make it. I do not know how to make fur. I'm probably not gonna use clay for it, and I put paper on it so it can look like fur. But overall, this one is pretty good. It used to have paper spikes, but I removed those and put clay on it. Not the horns and like the top of its head. That one was already clay. But overall, I like it. This one took a long time to make, because when I wanted to make custom dinosaurs, custom Jurassic World, specifically alive dinosaurs, I wanted to make it, but I didn't know how to, because I didn't want to use a sticky mullet. I didn't really want to use the Hammond collections Pachycephalosaurus, because I was a bit too small. But when I saw the Legacy collection Pachycephalosaurus and saw it was pretty big, I decided to use that one. So here it is, the Dracoceratosaurus. I used the Hammond collection Pachycephalosaurus to make the Glyptoceras. This one I used the Pachycephalosaurus to actually make it. And this was when I finally started to use sandpaper. See, this part of its head is a bit flat, like the actual creature. It's not that flat, but it's still pretty good. I added some feathers on it, paper as well, and I actually, before I painted the whole creature, before I put the tail in, I decided to paint this part, the tail first, and add little things so it can look like it's actually like the Glyptoceras tail. And yeah, this is the Glyptoceras. The creature didn't really do that much is the Edmontoguanodon. I did not have to explain this creature. The creature basically looks exactly like an iguanodon, just oversized. So I just painted it. Didn't really do not much of it. It basically just an iguanodon repaint. Call it whatever you want. Edmontoguanodon, just an iguanodon repaint. I don't really care. But here it is, the Edmontoguanodon at least. However, a hadrosaur I did spend time making is the Bajadantodon. The Bajadantodon, basically I used paper for its spikes at first, but then I decided to make them clay. Took me a bit of a while, but I got most of it right. I think it's I think this one is one of the accurate ones. Not as accurate as possible, but it looks similar. You can easily identify it if you're a Bajadantodon fan. But here it is, the Bajadantodon. Funny name. Another hadrosaur that a lot of people like is the Turamolic. The Turamolic, it also took me a lot of time since I also use paper. You can see some of it. It basically used paper for it, and then the Bajadantodon, I swapped it out for clay, and it looks much more better than it used to look like. And this one is pretty good, but this is the Turamolic. But now let's go on to my favorite hadrosaur that I've made. My favorite hadrosaur that I have made, and also the one in the game, is the Fukumimus. This one I also remolded since its feathers were mostly paper and they were crumbling down. So I decided to swap the paper, swap it with more of more like every other hadrosaur clay. And I really like this one. Not only because it looks pretty good, but also because I like the Fukumimus. The Fukumimus is a very underrated legendary. I highly recommend using it. I hope like the Alacranix it gets a buff, so it can its special move doesn't really take like 2 times to finally use, but like 1, so then you can finally use, and that would be I really want them to update the Fukumimus. But here it is so far, the Fukumimus. Yep, this is gonna be a very long video to make, but anyways, here is another one that I think some people might like. It is a Tyrannometrodon. I have made the Tyrannometrodon. We're using one of the minis as well, like always. But it looks pretty cool. The sail actually works. This time, something made out of paper actually works. And I really like it. It's one of my favorite ones that I have made. One of my favorite minis that I have made. It looks pretty cool, and I pretty much like the Tyrannometrodon. Tyrannometrodon is also pretty cool. But here it is, the Tyrannometrodon. Speaking of sails, I have also made sails for the Thylos Intrepidus. These are the Thylos Intrepidus. Yeah, these little guys, I had a plan on making them. I just didn't know how to until I got like a little someone gave me like this little canister of dinosaurs. And then that came in there and I'm like, that's a good idea. And decided to make a Thylo Intrepidus, making the big one of course bigger than the rest of them. But these are the Thylo Intrepidus. I like these guys a lot. These guys were pretty cool. I used them in the Dino Hunter series, and they're pretty cool. I hope to use them more often, but these are so far the Thylo Intrepidus. A creature that took me a while to make because of its design, wacky design, is this Stegodeus. Stegodeus took me a long time to make because at first it was just a repaint of the Stegosaurus, but then I saw like little spikes on it and I'm like, I have to add them, so I added them on, and it's pretty. It's not the best. I mean, the Stegosaurus captive, it was not the best. It had like a bigger head. It looked like a hybrid of a Stygimoloch or Pachycephalosaurus and a Stegosaurus. But so far, it's just there. I haven't really used it a lot since I don't really like its design. But this is so far the Stegodeus. The Stegosaur that I do like a lot about is Carnotaurus. Carnotaurus, I like the mini Stegosaurus that Jurassic World Dominion came out with. I like it a lot, so I decided to make the Carnotaurus into one of these. I cut off its spikes so it can look more like the creature. I didn't really add the horns, but I might add them in the future. But so far, here it is, the Carnotaurus. Here I have the Majunga Boa. Majunga Boa, I used a snake that I had for a very long time when I was a kid, and I decided to finally use it one time. This thing is pretty much old. It's been there. I made it since I first started my channel actually. But I recently I remodeled it every time, repainted it, stuff like that. But here it is, the Majunga Boa. Now its son, the Troodon Boa, is a different story. Instead of using like a normal snake, I used a Hobby Lobby snake, which is good, I guess, for articulation, stuff like that. That's why I used it. But the thing is that I still don't understand why Ludia decided to make a add Troodon, when it's no longer a valid species. Remember the Troodon thing happened in 2018? I'm pretty sure they added the Troodon in 2019 or 2021. I'm not sure when they added the Troodon. I honestly forgot. But the Troodon is no longer a valid species, so I don't know why we have Troodon. Anyways, here we have the Troodon Boa. Creature that you probably didn't thought I would have ever made is the Monolorhino. Yes, I've made the Monolorhino. The Monolorhino in this one is pretty good. I actually like it a lot. This is the first rhino I used to make it custom. But here it is, the Monolorhino. I've also made the Diorajosaurus. Diorajo, I made it when the first Jurassic World Dominion toy line came out, when it originally came out. But instead, it looked way different than now. Back then, I used aluminum foil for the spikes. Brilliant idea I had back then. But now I turned it back, I took them out and I put clay on it, which is much more better. Because the aluminum spikes used to fold a lot and break up easily. But these ones don't, they're not easy to break. Dioraja can still stand, I guess, make sounds. I remember going to the store and seeing Diorajosauruses not Dioraja, Rajasauruses, like leaning down and you couldn't stand up and pose them. But nah, this one's still kicking. Oh yeah, also, I like the feathers, so I really take that off. And I like the little horn it has as well. But here it is, the Diorajosaurus. Like the Giganix, I also made the Thyloco. Well, I forgot the name. I'll put it up for you guys. But I made it and skin Berserker, whatever it's called as well. Anyways, I made these. These guys are also remodeled because they had paper as well. But I recently remodeled them. Only these parts, because like I should have remodeled this part, but it's very glued in, so I'm not really gonna do that. But I really don't. I forgot the name of this guy. Because I remember when I see it, I called it a Skullcrawler, and that's the name that I stuck with. I always just call it Skullcrawler. I never call it by its actual hybrid name. But I do call Berserker by its name. But anyways, here it is, Citadel and Berserker skin. The creature you not expect is the Dakotanobs. The coda knobs I made using like this rubber knobs creature. I forgot what's it called, but I made it, and it's pretty much what it is. It's a Dakota. It's a knobs, but with like the little feather thing. Didn't really do much with it. I just painted it and just added the little feather thing on. But here it is, the Dakota knobs. Almost done with this, but here it is, the Monolo Stegos stops. So the Monolo Ceratops. Stegotop. I don't know. Anyways, the Monolo Stegostops, I made it. Uh, it's very, 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 very different. This is the first hybrids I actually customized. The first dinosaurs I customized, and it's very, very bad. I don't like it. You can clearly see the eye. Look, yeah, the Monolo Stegostops. Another creature that I like a lot is the Erlico Spikes. Erlico Spikes, didn't really do much with it, just painted it and added a little spine on it. It's paper as well, but I don't know about this one. I really want to keep the spine, because I mean, it doesn't really it doesn't really bother me, and it's not really breaking apart. If it breaks apart, then yeah, I'll remodel it to a clay version of it. But for now, the Erlico Spikes is just staying like that. But here it is, the Erlico Spikes. Remember when I mentioned that I used Crayola clay and an example of it? Yeah, here's the example. I made the T Sintamoth. So as you can see, its little crest it has on its head, that is Crayola, and it's very, very delicate. When I was getting my customs for the video, it broke off. Like right now, I can it broke right now, and I just put super glue on it so it can just look good. But yeah, I'm just gonna remodel it. But so far, here it is, the T Sintamoth. I have the Pyrrhia Tater. The Pyrrhia Tater, well, it's basically just like the others. I just remodeled, I just painted it and just added paper on it. It's pretty simple. The snout was already long enough, so I didn't really sharpen it. Plus, this was like one of the first high dinosaurs I made customized as well. So it looks like that. I might remodel it, but here it is, the Pyrrhia Tater. Now to end some of the little ones, because I finished already some of the little dinosaurs that I was gonna show from Jurassic World Alive. Here I have the Ankylo, not Ankylo, the sticky, the Ankylo Moloch. Yeah, Ankylo Moloch. Ankylo Moloch was pretty much pretty simple painting it. The spikes were pretty easy to not paint. I used like little toothpick to paint it, and then I added like the little top part. Not that difficult, and although like its head, its bald spot is very, very big. But other than that, it looks pretty cool. I like it. And here's the Ankylomoloch. Another ankylosaur is the Enkyitrosaurus. Enkyitrosaurus looked way different back then. You can see some of it. It had paper as well. This one I used the 30th anniversary Ankylosaurus captives to make it. And and I recently also added clay on it. It looks pretty cool. I like the remodel I made on it. It looks way better than back then, and it's less delicate. But here it is, the Enkyitrosaurus. One of my favorite ones that I remodeled is the Alberto Spinos, the Alberto Sevilla. Alberto Sevilla, I like this remodel a lot, because this one actually glows in dark. I'll show you guys. As you can see, it glows in dark, and I like it a lot. I recently repainted it, although it doesn't look accurate as the Alberto Sevilla looks like. I still like it, and here it is, the Alberto Sevilla. Now I saved my best for last, and to start this thing off with the last creatures I have the Dilophoboa. The Dilophoboa does not look accurate as well. I mean, it has the frills and everything like that, but it's not accurate. But I made it. This is another one of my old ones. These are the much more larger stuff, and it doesn't really look accurate, but I decided to make it, and I'm not gonna remodel it. But here it is, the Dilophoboa. Spinoconstrictor may be worse than the Dilophoboa. I mean, it's more a little bit more accurate to it, It has much more accurate crest. It has, of course, the frills, but still, I do not like the spine I made for it because it just looks all crumpled up and stuff like that. Doesn't look good. But for now, this is the spinal constrictor. The creature that I do like a lot is the Sarcorix. Sarcorix, I use the Hobby Lobby crocodile to make it. Now, the thing that I like about it is because it's since its snout is a bit round, it fits more like the crocodile, the Hobby Lobby crocodile, and you can easily tell that it's gonna be that it is the Sarcorix. This one I also use Crayola clay, but it's not that just not that fragile like the others. But yeah, I pretty much like it. This is one of my favorite ones I made, the Sarcorix. Finally, to end these things off, we have the Segnoraptor. Segnoraptor is pretty much one of my favorite creatures. I like it. I like the Segnoraptor. When I first saw the Therizinosaurus, I instantly thought of the Segnoraptor. So I decided to make it. I'm like, hey, why not making it? Why not grab this and make this? So here it is, the Segnoraptor. You can see like those feathers that's made of paper, and everything else is just there. And well, when I made the Segnoraptor, I was like, hopefully they don't make another hybrid, like a Segnoraptor hybrid. So then I have to make a much more bigger version of this thing. Olivia had other ideas. That's what brings me to this, my biggest custom I've made so far, the Segnotheresis. Segnotheresis is actually it's pretty well painted actually. I never expected the Ludia to make another Therizinosaurus hybrid, but they did. But here it is, the Segnotheresis. I like it a lot because of its. I actually, instead of using paper, I use clay for it. I also added those back things. I painted here. Well, I like this feature a lot because like in the outside it's white, and then like in the inside where the button is to make it roar, it's black. So now you can push it and it looks pretty good. The feathers, however, are paper, but it doesn't really matter. I have the little beard part it also has, and the eyes look pretty cool. If you can see, yeah, here it is. The eyes are pretty cool because they're not painted. But overall, I like this one. I actually painted the nails as well. So if you're looking to hire Mattel, I'm here. Anyways, here it is, the Therosaurus. Okay, guys, checking the editing for this video, for this special is... It's gonna be a long time. So, I'm just gonna end this video off here since this is already gonna be a long video to make. But these are all my Jurassic World Alive customs that I made. I was planning to make this video all my customs, but I guess I'm gonna just show all my Jurassic World Alive. Because this video is gonna be a very long video, and I just can't really do that. If you wanna see a follow-up video, then I'll make a part 2 maybe. Just let me know in the comments. But overall, that's it. Take care, guys, and God bless you all.